Ladies, gentlemen, comrades, as we are gathered here to protest against the ongoing occupation against Kashmir, it is my privilege to say a few words on behalf of my political party, the Red Party. I think it is natural for a party like ours to support the Kashmiri people's struggle for self-determination, their freedom to choose their own path as a people. It is also a fight that to a large extent has evaded public discourse. Everybody knows that India and Pakistan have not been the best of neighbors since the split in 1947. Many people have heard about Kashmir as an area of conflict between those two countries. But a lot fewer know about the efforts of the Kashmiri people themselves to gain liberty and self-determination. There is a proverb originally in Swahili that when elephants fight, the grass is trampled. What that means is that the people who get hurt when great powers fight, and these are military great powers, are local people who would be much better off just living their own lives in their own way. Some people are too often forgotten when the common focus is directed on the clashing elephants, and that's a shame, because more often than not, it is they who hold the key to lasting peace and regional stability. With that in mind, it is even more of an honor for me to lend one's voice to these grassroots rebels, telling the elephants, as well as the rest of us, that enough is enough, and it's time to pay attention. The issue is evidently an urgent one, seeing as how the oppression of the Indian government against the Kashmiri people is very brutal and awfully present. The tools used in this oppression are all too familiar from other similar situations across the world. Strong censorship, restrictions on freedom of speech and assembly, draconian laws designed to hold people in their place, and arbitrary use of force by the governments. Opening fire on peaceful demonstrators can never be justified. One is tempted to think that the Indian power holders fear democratic expressions of dissent because they know that the colonial stranglehold is illegitimate. In such a situation, it would be morally unacceptable and wrong not to choose the right side in this conflict. A wise man once said that if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. If an elephant has its foot on the tail of a mouse, and you say that you are neutral, the mouse will not appreciate your neutrality. This man was, and still is, an iconic preacher in a struggle against apartheid. Another wise man, an equally iconic preacher in a fight against segregation, said that injustice anywhere is a threat to freedom anywhere. When our comrades in Kashmir invites us to join their struggle, that is also our chance to gain partners in our own cause. To the party on the left, this cause is fundamental. It is a reason why we call ourselves left-wing in the first place. We represent the part of politics that has its name from a group of people who are tired of the old dictum, render unto Caesars what is Caesar. What is Caesar's. They thought about this and reasoned that no, why would we give something to some line of kings that rightly belongs to us, the people? Why would we render unto Caesar our freedom to choose our own political future? It seemed unjust, and so it was. Therefore they rid themselves of this arbitrary source of oppression in the person of the king and became a republic. It should be added that I'm not speaking for the application of the same drastic measures that those revolutionaries applied. The capital punishment is a deeply problematic tool which is, I think, rightfully shunned in most countries. But the main sentiment made a lot of sense. Power rightfully belongs to the people. France, of course, was not entirely consistent in their political outlook, and what was considered good and natural for the French people was not as easily admitted to people of other countries. It was and remained an empire, a status they shared with Great Britain, which again is a very important historical part of the situation in South Asia now. In what was then India, the process of colonization started with the expansive business interest of the East India Company until the British Crown started to take a more active interest, particularly from 1815 onwards. The roots of the oppression in the area are therefore to a large extent grounded in European capitalism, which make the Kashmiri people even more of a natural ally for us. We in the Red Party are proud to express our sympathy with the Kashmiri struggle, our shared commitment to the cause of self-determination, and our stance strongly and squarely on the side of Kashmiri independence. Thank you to Dalit Kamra for inviting us, and thank you all for your attention. Solidarity forever, and freedom to the Kashmiri people. Thank you.
Thank you to Torbjørn Monsen for sharing the solidarity with us. The last speech of the day is by Roga Solsvik from Aktivisten.
Do I need a... Yeah. It's all sorts of equipment these days. Yes, we also held some speeches previously today at Tornplass. I don't know if everyone here wasn't there, but I wrote a longer version of the same speech as well, but I think I'll just drop it and rather play you a song afterwards, because we've really heard a lot of things now, and the details is not something that I can fill in more. So the speech is in Norwegian, though, but just try to follow as far as you can. Venner, kamerater. Myndighetene har mistet tilliten til folket. Myndighetene har bestemt fra Bertolt Brecht en veldig god beskrivelse av dagens situasjon i India. Fra Nagaland i øst til Kashmir i nord driver den indiske staten såkalte antiterroroperasjoner. Antiterror. Begrepet er også velkjent her til lands. Det kjennetegnes for oss vanligvis av norske kampfly som slipper bomber over uklare mål i fjerne himmelstrøk. Det kalles imperialisme, uansett hvor fine ord de ser på det. I Kashmir i dag er den imperialistiske trusselen veldig mye mer direkte. 700 000 militære og paramilitære okkupasjonssoldater er utplassert for å holde folk i konstant frykt og spre fatalisme, følelsen av at makta er uovervinnelig. Men okkupasjon og undertrykkelse har alltid og vil alltid føre til motstand. Det er det vi ser her nå, og det er det vi er her i dag for å løfte fram. Mens vi står her, demonstrerer tusenvis av kashmirere mot statens undertrykking, portforbudet, terrorisering av lokale medier, sensurering av internett og generell vold mot sivile. I motsetning til oss blir disse demonstrantene møtt med kuler. Riktig nok kuler av såkalte ikke-dødelige karakter, men de som har sett resultatene av denne ikke-dødeligheten, de vet at de er til å grøsse av. Aktivisten i Bergen støtter det kashmirske folkets kamp for frigjøring. Styresmakten i India viser i dag sin desperasjon i Kashmir. Gjennom utstrakt bruk av brutal vold mot sivile viser de at de frykter folket. De frykter makta som ligger i folkemassene. De frykter folkets organisering og motstand. Vår oppgave her i Norge, på den andre siden av kloden, er å gjøre folk oppmerksom på at dette skjer. Den indiske staten forsøker å sensurere alle nyheter fra området som ikke taler deres sak. De fleste i vår del av verden vet ikke engang at den største konflikten i verden i dag utkjempes innad i vestlige makters bestevenn i Asia. Det er landet som vi på skolen fikk lære at var verdens største demokrati. Hvor er demokratiet for folk i Kashmir, som blir peppret med haglpatroner for å si meningen sin? Hvor er demokratiet for folk som blir fengslet uten tiltale? Eller de som tilfeldigvis bare forsvinner etter å ha blitt satt i varetekt? Staten mot folket. Avisene skriver om det. Nyhetene snakker ikke om det. Det er en skjult konflikt. Det foregår i hemningsløs sensurering på sosiale medier, først og fremst Facebook. Innlegg som viser brutaliteten i den indiske okkupasjonen av Kashmir blir fjernet. Sterke kasjmirske stemmer blir sensurert og får sine innlegg som den indiske volden i Kashmir fjernet. Dette er den største imperialistiske konflikten i vår tid. Den indiske staten beleirer sin egen befolkning i massive militære operasjoner i store deler av landet. De driver fram et korstog mot fattigfolk og nasjonale minoriteter. De beordrer tortur og drap på uavhengighetsaktivister og folk som flagger sin støtte til separatistbevegelser. Den indiske staten viser her tydelige fascistiske trekk. Våre kamerater i India, våre likemenn og kvinner kjemper. De kjemper i gatene, på universitetene, og de kjemper i jungelen. De kjemper med penn, med sang og gevær, og aller fremst, de kjemper for sin rett til å kalle seg folket. Og folket lar seg ikke bytte ut. Takk. And then I would like to sing you a song if that's possible. I brought my guitar. I guess I need a microphone for this one as well.
How hard do you play?
Not very hard.
Just let's wait for that.
This is a Swedish song. It's an anti-imperialist song. It's written by Cornelis Vreeswijk against the bombing of Hanoi in Vietnam. And I like it very much. Jag skulle bra gärna vilja veta varför vårt hus inte fick stå kvar. Jag skulle bra gärna vilja veta vad de har gjort med mor och far. Kan några människa ge ett svar? Sa att huset låg mitt i vägen, låg mitt i vägen för en soldat. Det var en omväg på några steg, men istället slängde han en granat. Hur kan en människa bli så lat?
Thank you, Olga, for beautiful music and strong words from Aktivisten in Bergen. And I would like to call upon Dr. Anand and MC Kash for some closing up words, please.
Well, before I thank formally all of you for being here and Dalit Camera for supporting this and everyone else, I just thought I'll highlight a couple of things which we have discussed and some of the things which we need to keep in mind. There's one picture there, of course, we talked of Burhan Wani, who was killed recently, but there's another, the reason I mention these pictures is because it's crucial why you're supporting Kashmir or why you should have solidarity. And I'm sure we'll have different reasons. For some of us who identify ourselves as leftists and progressive, it is about human rights, it's about freedom struggle. For some of us, it may not be about freedom struggle, we may not be interested, we may be simply interested in supporting because it's a human rights issue. But there's Afzal Guru there who was hanged, so he was victim of capital punishment. Afzal Guru, who was a Kashmiri, was hanged by India in 2013 and his family was not even informed before he was hanged. They sent a speed post. So they did not call, they did not send anything. They did not have the courtesy to call his wife that they're going to kill him. They sent her a letter through speed post, which arrived, of course, much after he was already hanged. And his body has not been given back to the family. There's Makbul Bhatt, and he was, in 1984, he was again hanged by Indian state, and he's someone, I have to keep him at, he's someone who made it very clear the idea of Azadi is not only independence from both India and Pakistan, and he was very clear that, but Azadi is also connected to social justice. It's connected to economic justice. The reason I mentioned that is because he had, and quite a few Kashmiris have a very wider notion of Azadi than a lot of us will give them credit for. So in essence, Kashmiris are also grappling, I'm sure all of you are grappling with what does Azadi mean. But because of the brutal violence of the state, it's largely confined right to whether it's against India or not. But there's a lot of discussion, there's a lot of thinking going on around. Does it mean economic justice also? Does it mean social justice, religious freedom? What's the role for minorities? All those questions are already taking place in Kashmir. In a sense, when we have solidarity, the reason I have solidarity is because I'm against colonization. I'm against imperialism. So when you stand from which are anti-imperialist, we know that imperialism will continue today, let's say in Indian occupied Kashmir. So I'm anti-imperialist, I'm anti-colonialist, I'm in support of human rights. I believe in genuine democracy, not the kind of democracy we have in most places, but genuine democracy which is privileging, and I think one of you talked about how we have to focus on people rather than state. For all those reasons, we need to have solidarity with Kashmiris, as we have solidarity with others occupied throughout the world. I thought I'll highlight that part. In that context, when we talk of free Kashmir, we talk of Azadi, the freedom, we keep in mind that it is a wider struggle than only about political solution. The political solution is crucial. It is a struggle for a better world. It is a struggle for a better way of being in the world. I know that especially the speakers from UN, when they talked of the limits here, so the sovereign statehood imposes that limit. It is limited. But even within United Nations, there's a lot that states can do, because no state can justify violation of human rights. It goes against UN Charter. So the least that the states like Norwegian state and other states can do is put pressure on the Indian government to fulfill duties that exist within the UN. And those of us who may want to support the wider struggle for freedom also have our own way of struggle. So in a sense, I would end with concluding that we all have our role to play. We all, specifically those of us who are privileged enough not to feel occupied, those of us who are privileged not for our nations to have been exterminated or not been victim genocide, I think onus is also on us that if we want to live in a world with dignity and equality and freedom, that we have to support the struggle for freedom in Kashmir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Dibyesh. I think he summed it up pretty clearly. I would also like to add that for Azadi, for me, means demilitarization. I'm sick and tired of looking at people with guns. And the implementation of the UN resolution, which says that Kashmiris have a right to choose their own destiny, as it should be with people or peoples living anywhere around the world. Closing remark, I guess it has to be that we're all human beings, and it's empathy that makes us human beings. And I'm really glad that you guys came here and listened to us speak and talk about Kashmir, and you gave us your time. You gave Kashmir your time. What happens next is all up to you, what you do about it. But I believe that you're friends now, and that you will do what friends do. Talk about it, you spread the message wherever you go, or however you think the message might be propagated again and again and again. There are a few installations of artistic work from Kashmir right there, and there are a few photographs here. These are made by, a few of them are made by an Indian who has solidarity with Kashmiris, and this is how she has represented her solidarity. There are cartoons by a very good friend of mine, a prominent political cartoonist named Mir Sohail. So I think it's very interesting. You might get another sense, another dimension of Kashmir's problem through these installations, through this mini art gallery. So finally, I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you for having me in Norway. It's a beautiful city, and Bergen is a beautiful city. I hope to be back here someday, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming here, everyone. Thank you especially to Dr. Anand and MC Kash for coming all the way from UK and Kashmir to giving us the opportunity to know more about the issue. And I would also like to thank all the organizations, Rødt, the Red Party, UN Association, the UN Students, Aktivisten, Tamil Youth Organization, Kurdistan Association, Dalit Camera through Untouchable Eyes. And I would like to end this event today with an important quote by Nelson Mandela. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall.